when you think about it too, it's not just when you think fleet vehicle leasing, you think, oh, it's the white van. But it's not just that. It can be anything, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've got some accounts where they're doing vehicles for executives. They're doing delivery
Escalades,
cars.
right?
Escalade. That it's the whole spectrum.
Hey, welcome into Inside the Lease with my friends from D&M Leasing. Kelly and Chase are alongside. I'm Brian, and we're talking about the ins and outs of leasing. And over the years, we've talked a lot about the consumer side of things, and that's a real specialty and important to you guys, and the way that you've handled your customer base over the years. But there is a commercial side as well that we probably haven't talked about a lot. In fact, you were giving me some sort of history lesson on leasing. That's how leasing started way back in the day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was the commercial side of things.
Yeah, leasing was initiated to help businesses manage high mileage driving for sales reps or business usage. Yeah, most people know us for our consumer side. We advertise on the radio and
Yep.
and TV that we make leasing easy, and this is our 50th year that we've been in business, and we're very proud of that. But we also have a commercial side that specializes in straight commercial leasing. We'll see people on the consumer side that, like a business owner that has multiple trucks, construction trucks running out, and the guy has 10 trucks in his personal name, and his credit's low because of it, because no one set that up on the right schedule and on the right commercial type of a lease for him. And we have a division that specializes in that.
I can remember growing up, Chase. I had an uncle who sold Hellman's mayonnaise.
Okay.
So that was the company that he worked for, and every 3 years he got a new car. But back then they were leasing a vehicle for him because he had a territory of about 2 states
Yep.
that he had to cover.
Yeah.
And who knows how many cars Hellman's leased at the time.
Oh, sure.
Right? That was a fleet leasing, right?
Well, in this example that Kelly just talked about, where a guy goes out, maybe he starts out with one vehicle, and so it's just his, and then he starts getting more business and adds a second, and he goes and buys it. Well, he just keeps going back and buying a car, and someone's just selling him a car, and no one's taking a step back and looking at it. And so what will happen is we'll randomly bump into that customer, and all these trucks are out there. They're in long-term loans. They're putting a bunch of miles on them, beating them up. Then you get to a point where if you have 10 trucks and you have 10 service guys, or pick your industry, it could be bread delivery. If the vehicle doesn't work, you can't generate revenue.
Right.
And so then they'll call in and they'll have us look at it, and they're in a 75-month loan that they have 200,000 miles on it, and they're 15,000 upside down. They're jacking with maintenance and repairs, and they get hit with unexpected costs. Then they get a new vehicle, and they're trying to figure out, it's got to go to the wrap shop, and then I got to add this, fuel tank and these brush, all the things. And they look up, and all of a sudden it's like, we're spending all of our, we need a full-time employee just to manage the maintenance, repairs, all these different pieces of it. And so our business in that area is exploding. We come in and we have a specialized team. They'll do an analysis on the entire fleet of vehicles they have, and they'll figure out what their goals are, right? Like, where are they at right now? A lot of people, honestly, right now aren't in a good spot that aren't having it properly managed, and figure out you can do fuel cards, you can do maintenance plans. We can figure out, and we get better pricing because we do a ton of volume with we have a lot of large accounts. We will order the vehicles exactly like they want. We'll set the term of the lease up, account for the miles. There's some benefits as far as how you can account for that and write it off that are specific to leasing versus a traditional purchase. But having somebody come in, analyze where they're at, make a game plan on how the vehicles are going to be used and when the right time is to turn them. Because, you can keep a vehicle longer term, but if you look at it and you're like, what, if I kept this one 2 more years, well, what if it's in the shop for a year and a half for those, or, you got an important customer and that's the only truck that can go there and they can't go. Yeah. So all those things, kind of are brought into consideration. and we make a game plan with the business owner, and you can essentially take all that burden off of the business itself. And, like Chick-fil-A, they focus on making chicken sandwiches.
Yes.
That's what they're good at.
Right.
These business owners that are out there messing around, they're real good. I'm a big Chick-fil-A
No, they're
fan.
really good at it.
But other people will kind of it seems to me, from my perspective, it's kind of like you just slowly end up there.
Yeah.
It's not like they're just going out and getting 30 trucks. 2 or 3 becomes 5 or 6, and then you just get stuck in the cycle.
And a lot of times we get the call, our commercial side gets the call when the business owner's out trying to redo his mortgage or whatnot, and you find out it's affected your credit because you have 8 or 9 personal vehicles on your personal name, which is not how they set it up. You go back.
Well, they go get into an accident, and all of a sudden,
or there's a liability. Yeah, there's a liability.
Suing them personally.
These guys are experts. They all have big accounts, but they also have little onesies and twosies, and this pool company with 5 trucks, and this rehab company has 10 Ultimas, that sort of thing. But you go back to the Hellman's example. But when you're leasing, when you have a commercial leasing division that can explain to small market enterprise owners that these vehicles are, leasing it is off balance sheet, which is a benefit. And then you have, we're not CPAs, but then you have, certain write-offs that are that you get when you lease, which make it very advantageous. If you could write off the portion of the payment that you subscribe to business usage, the write-offs can be pretty large, and who's not looking for a write-off?
Well, I'm going to go back to what you said at the very, very beginning, because it kind of goes against what some people think about leasing, in that these are vehicles that get a ton of miles on them.
Yeah.
Well, they all are.
Right,
Yeah.
to accommodate miles.
Well, some of them are written. Some of those commercial leases are written with $1 buyout.
Yeah.
But it's a track lease.
Yeah.
And so the business owner keeps the asset off the balance sheet and ends up maximizing his or her write-off. So there are a lot of businesses, large businesses, Hellman's, Coca-Cola, that they could probably write a check for the dealerships, but they're leasing for those reasons.
When you think about it too, it's not just when you think fleet vehicle leasing, you think, oh, it's the white van, but it's not just that. It can be anything, right?
Yeah. We've got some accounts where they're doing vehicles for executives. They're doing delivery
Escalades
cars, Escalade. That it's the whole spectrum.
Yeah.
But having a team that can go in there, and it goes back to this single point of contact. We can do anything. There's a company that last week they were getting some medical vans for a factory. They were getting a 5 Series for an executive. They got some 4Runners for. It's like
so different kinds, even
literally all over, larger.
It's likely
companies.
on one schedule. That's very easy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the accounting part of it's easier, but having one person know all that, know the plans, know that the delivery van is going to be driven 50,000 miles a year, and so you really got to turn that one quicker. Structuring the lease to accommodate that versus, this is a backup for whenever we have people that come in town to have transportation. Maybe they keep that one longer, and these need, this particular upfit and these ladder racks, and having someone look at all that, help with the accounting part, get fuel cards. There's a lot more options than I think people realize, and it doesn't just have to be, people think, oh, if I don't have 50 vehicles, then that's not for me. I got to go. It's not the case. We want to grow with the company. So we have large accounts, we have small accounts, we have everywhere in between.
Yeah, and make it turnkey, make it easy for them.
And sometimes when those business owners are trying to manage it themselves, it's a disaster because you've got one guy that's putting high miles on a truck, and another rep that's putting less. They're trying to take this guy out of that. I'm going to put this one in that one. I'm upside down over here, and I need to get rid of this truck, but then I need another truck that's an extent. They take all of that and do all of that for the business owner, like we do on the
they run that for
on the consumer side.
And with these upfits, I've learned that a lot of people don't. Some of these upfits can be expensive. You can be putting 15, 20 grand of equipment on a car. We can roll that into the lease. So spread it out over payments rather than a guy going in and thinking that he needs to stroke this big check out of pocket. Hey, how am I going to cash flow this? We can roll into the lease in many cases, and that way you can spread that payment and that write-off out to make it, more palatable.
I'm going to put both of you on the spot right here because I don't know the answer to this as we started this conversation.
We may not either.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming they can find out more about the fleet leasing at dmautoleasing.com, can they?
Yep.
Absolutely.
On the there's
100%.
fleet
There's a
info on
specific division that handles that,
there.
and that's all they do.
On the website,
That's what they specialize in.
dmautoleasing.com. Yeah, they make it easy.
Yep.
That's what they
Make
do.
leasing easy.
I've heard that. Yeah. He's Kelly. He's Chase. I'm Brian. Thanks for joining us.